So you're playing on the streets, in the playground, at school, at a rec center, community center, and you're playing awesome. You're playing great. You're playing great basketball. But then you make the school team, whether it's elementary, high school, maybe even college, maybe even pros, and all of a sudden you just can't play. Like you just can't play. Like you can play. You know you can shoot, you can drive, you can dribble. You're winning games on the streets, winning games on the playground. But as soon as you're playing on a school team, rep team, AAU team, a travel team, college team, maybe a pro team, all of a sudden you can't play anymore. And you're wondering, why can't I play? What is going on? Why can't I play? Why can't I play? Why can't I play? And that is something, people call it game jitters, nervousness. But that's something that I had to deal with, throughout my, let's say, playing career as a youngster, playing career as a youngster. And play well on the streets, on the playground, you're getting complimented, you're dominating, you're doing everything. But as soon as you get to play on a team, school team, you just freeze out in games. You freeze out and all of a sudden you can't play and you're wondering, why can't I play, how I used to play? Because I know I can play. I know I can do it, but all of a sudden in that game, you're not playing the way you are. You're scoring out there, doing everything, but in organized basketball, all that is absent. Again, I've dealt with it, again, my whole playing career, and I've even asked people for some advice about this, and I got nothing. I would ask, why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? And I got nothing. Coaches, again, didn't really, I guess, help me in that aspect. Other people outside of teams, older people didn't help me in that aspect. So I was basically on my own trying to figure this out. It wasn't until I was finally getting the hang of it, until grade 8 high school. That's when, again, the anxiety of high school, the stress of high school, being such a new environment in high school, it really did snap my development to a point when I was in high school, I was just not getting better. I could not understand, because I was jumping the highest, running the fastest, playing in the cold, in the winter, playing hard in camps. But I got to high school, grade 9 and 10, the anxiety just destroyed me to a point where I just could not play, to a point I just had to quit the team. But anyways, as a coach, before I get into that, there's nothing, I don't have a trick for this. I don't have a cure or remedy for game jitters. But one thing I'll say is, when I'm coaching, especially with the younger guys, say the U9s, the U10s, the U11s, even U12s, if they're very new to the game, first team. I always tell them in the first set of games, during their season, go out there and make all the mistakes you can. Go out there, make all the mistakes you can. If you get blown out by 100 points, so be it. Get used to the referees, get used to the whistles, get used to the scoreboard, get used to the substituting, get used to the free throw setup, get used to the inbounds, get used to the passing, get used to the floors, get used to the school, the stadium that we're playing in, get used to the spectators, your parents, other teams' parents, get used to the other teams coming in, the other teams that are maybe bigger, smaller, they have better jerseys, worser jerseys. Get used to the whole atmosphere of your league, of the season. Get used to it, embrace it. Make all the mistakes you can then. That's what I tell them. Make all the mistakes you can. Again, if you turn over the ball 50 times and we lose by 100, so be it. But by that end, in the playoffs or the finals, whatever they want to call it, whatever it's called in your league, by then you'd have to finally get used to it. Again, it depends on how many games we play, how many tournaments we play, I guess minutes, and that all is a factor. But I always tell them, make all the mistakes you can before. Every mistake you can, because by that end, that's when it really does matter. Because we go through so much stuff during the season, over and over and over. You have time to get accustomed and to adjust and to adapt to the atmosphere. I tell them, get used to it. If they make mistakes during the season, I let it go. I don't hold anything personal. But again, when it comes to that end, that finals, the playoffs, that's when we have to crack down. We have to know what we're doing. We have to again know our mistakes. We got to know how to correct our mistakes, find the solutions, find our problems, and correct them over and over, because those final games is what really matters. So again, one way that I can say can help with game jitters with your players, maybe yourself, is to, I never had it. I wish I had that kind of support, but is to be approachable, support them, try to find an understanding and a solution, try to maybe have little coping strategies, just make them feel welcome in the game, in practice, in the team, make them feel comfortable around their teammates, comfortable around you as a coach, comfortable in the game with the referees, with the other teams that may be bigger or smaller. Just let them feel comfortable. Let them adjust for themselves. Let everything become natural. And I think I wish coaches can really emphasize that. Because sometimes some players may not be playing well just because of game jitters. They may be nervous. They may have some kind of anxiety. It may not even just be about the game. It could be things in school or in high school. You just start high school and things are just all over the place. Now when they're playing basketball, they're not performing well. And they can play well. That's why they're on the team. They can play well, but they're not playing well because of other factors which can contribute to their performance on the floor. But again, coaches, trainers, even teammates, even you as a player, got to support each other, got to find that understanding, and you got to take things slow. Take things slow and help them adapt, help players, adjust and realize that, hey, it's okay to make mistakes. I know we all want to win. We all want to win games. All want to win the big one. But sometimes it's before we can get there, there are certain steps we got to take. And as we're talking about game jitters, we have to find ways to be comfortable when we play the game of basketball. Because if we're not comfortable, we're going to make mistakes. And if we make mistakes, then we can't develop as players, and then we can't win games. And a lot of people will say it's not about winning, it's about development. Yes, true. But at the end of the day, when you're losing by, let's say, I might contradict myself, losing by 50 points every game, if you're losing in a 10-game losing streak, that can really damper a player's development. So sometimes as coaches, even players, you have to emphasize winning. In order to win, you got to develop. In order to develop, you got to do things the right way, do things the proper way. get better, improve. Something else I want to say, I just lost my train of thought. But anyways, I hope that makes sense. Again, coaches, players, teammates, be mindful of your players, because your players might have game jitters. They might be nervous in the game. So please be gentle with them at the beginning. Please help them along the way. But again, at that near end, when it all matters, that's when you really have to crack down. After you've been going through so much things, plays, etc., and they're coming to practice, by the end, they should, have some improvement. And if them as players, you don't see improvement, sometimes as coaches, we can show them, teach them, demonstrate, do it over and 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 over, put our time or money into it. But again, if these players themselves do not want to get better, then they don't want to get better. Because when I wanted to get better, I put in the work. I had to put in the work. I could have went to every coach, every trainer, could have done that. But and work and work and work. But if I didn't want to get better, I would not get better. So it always, again, it starts with the individual. It starts with that individual. But again, please support your players, your teammates, even your opponents if you have to. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Peace.